So, infamy is calling your name? Well, do not fear, because with this video you will be well prepared to take on Joseph and his army of goons in the hardest difficulty there is. A few things before the video starts off. I am only going over missions that the game forces you to do. That is, all of the bosses and their cutscene missions. Story missions, side missions, prepper stashes, cult properties, and cult outposts will receive no how-to, but may be mentioned throughout. I'm recording this video with the inference that you have already beaten the game at least once prior to playing Infamous. References will be made that new players will likely not understand. Finally, I'm going over tips and tricks in my opinion on how to beat the game. You will get through missions in cheap and easier ways. That's not to say that you won't die, but hopefully my strategies will alleviate you of some of the frustrations. Also, unlike easier difficulties, Infamous is much less about running in and gunning down the enemies, and a lot more strategically doing what's best in each situation. Just a reminder, enemies do more damage, detect you faster, and have more health. And with that information out of the way, let's get to the video. There's a bunch of stuff you need to consider before actually starting the game. First up is weapon choice. With New Game Plus, all weapons are carried over to your new game, though weapon choice is very important for becoming Infamous. My first weapon choice had always been the AR-CL. You need a weapon that will do one-shot headshots. This was a fine choice for both short and long range. Your second weapon is something that is required for crowd control. For this, I used the MG42 with an extended clip, and it's a lifesaver in a lot of missions. The last two weapon slots are a lot more up in the air. They can really be anything. I carried an AKMS for additional firepower when I wasn't able to reload, and a pistol for shooting out vehicles. Your next consideration is your perk points, and though none of them are required to beat the game, I highly recommended farming for at least the following before getting deep into your run. The repair torch and auto repair tool, which the latter will automatically repair the vehicles you are driving. Health boost, getting your health to at least 200% will let you survive an additional attack or two. Additional holster / weapons collector, which allows you to carry a third and fourth weapon respectively. And the black market perk, which allows you to buy explosives. And a few other perks that will also be super convenient are parachute, wingsuit, airdrop, rifle, and heavy weapons mastery, sneaky sprint, master blaster, ghost, journey pack, rifle, heavy and throwables, ammo bag, and whatever 2-3 specialists you use the most. The final consideration before starting your actual playthrough is the order of your regions. In my opinion, John is the easiest boss to kill with the hardest bunker. Faith has an average difficulty to kill, though a medium level bunker, and Jacob is the hardest boss to kill with the easiest bunker. And with this in mind, you have to fight all of them at some point, so it doesn't really matter, but I will demonstrate John, Faith, and Jacob in this video. Really quick, let's go over the start of the game and Dutch's region. Just cuff the son of a bitch so your game can continue. Boom, step 1 has been completed. Yeah, you are gonna get put into action really soon, and you've already played this if you're playing this in Infamous. Best thing to do is immediately just hit the shift and immediately just start running. Continue along the path and you eventually reach a cabin with a piggy turned away from you. You can kill him for his gun, but it's not necessary. Continue to follow the path until you reach the cabin with Burke. Defend from the oncoming attack, keeping in mind hitting your headshots as well as ammo conservation. Try to protect Burke, and you may need to revive him if he goes down. Get in the truck as soon as he pulls it out from the garage, and drive with him, killing every piggy you see, and don't be afraid to use your medkits. Upon doing this, the starting gameplay is complete. To liberate Dutch's island, take back the ranger station, free a hostage, do a mission with him, and climb the radio tower for Dutch, and you will be on your way. Keep in mind that you may not be able to easily just run in, as the enemies do much more damage. Here are my recommendations in order to get to John's resistance level missions the fastest. Start with rescuing all specialists, then doing the story missions, followed by destroying cult outposts, and then destroy the cult properties that are left.
It's deputy hunting season. Don't kill him, use a Bliss bullet.
Okay, well, now that capture party's coming, we kinda just have to get captured. First mission story. This mission requires you to clear a checkpoint after John's capture party crashes. Upon doing so, you must climb a hill and get to a vantage point whilst avoiding mortar fire. You must save a character named Murrow and defend the position as a chopper comes to pick you up. If you are struggling, slow down and take out the enemies one at a time. There is a limited amount of enemies, so you do not have to worry about more spawning in if you are going slow. Once you reach the vantage point, use the bridge as a choke point. Also, be aware of the enemies that are using throwing knives, and enemies that are closer to you should have a higher kill priority. Wait for Merle to get in the plane before you do. It's the Bliss bullets you want to get hit with. Just let these guys take you. You can kill them later if you want. This next mission is tough, so don't feel bad if you are dying a lot. This mission requires you to push through a portion of John's bunker after being captured and then escaping. All your weapons are stripped from you, and many enemies make it near impossible to rush through. As far as tips go, pick up all of the throwing knives in the starting room with the initial enemies inside of them. Slowly, take out enemies one at a time with throwing knives, picking them back up after you throw them. Aim for the head and retreat to previous hallways if multiple enemies begin to chase you. Pick up pistols and ammo that some of the piggies have. If things start going hectic, use your gun and aim for the head, though try to stay undetected for as long as possible. After John sees that you have escaped, it is time to escape the bunker. You should still have some ammo/knives left. Attack the enemies so they are stunned and cannot attack you. It is not that important that you kill these ones. Just run past them and escape the bunker. Get here. You're actually pretty chill. Get to the road. Task to be done. And you can leave. It doesn't really take all your stuff. You don't get to utilize your stuff. You're on the back of the truck on a slow, shitty driver, and you just need to hope that you get a little bit lucky. So I'm probably gonna die a little bit, but after getting enough resistance points in John's region, it's finally time to kill him. After going to the church in Falls End, John flees back to his ranch after being shot at. On the back of a truck, you must use a mountain gun to take out the piggies chasing you and safely arrive at John's ranch. Then, with the help from Nick Rye, you must kill John from a plane. As far as getting to his ranch, the key here is to take down the planes as fast as possible. If the planes are still shooting for longer than one strafing run, you are much more likely to be overrun. If you can control the planes, every other enemy becomes much easier to handle. Also, don't be afraid to use your medkits. If you are having trouble getting into the plane, stay behind the truck for a minute and take out the enemies nearby. In my opinion, John's death comes pretty easy as long as you are decent at flying. Try to line him up in your sights as well as possible and shoot missiles at him. If that doesn't work well, just whittle down the plane's health with your bullets, and if you're lucky, Nick Rye will do a lot of the work. You will have to shoot John once he parachutes to the ground. Try to land close to him and before him and mow him down as soon as he reaches the ground. Doesn't matter that we're getting shot, because John Seed's dead. Now we'll cut to the cutscene. Now that John's dead, you have to save Deputy Hudson in his bunker. In order to get to her, you must go through the bunker you recently escaped from, killing many piggies along the way. Once she is rescued, you and her must escape the bunker together as you do all the work killing more piggies. There are a lot of enemies in this bunker, and you can easily be overwhelmed. Hit your headshots, use remote explosives to kill armored enemies, and be patient during the entire thing. The intense music and Hudson's voice line make the game seem rushed, but nothing is forcing you to go quickly. You will eventually reach a server room. Kill all enemies in the area before you start destroying the servers. To destroy the servers, I recommend using explosives and an LMG to clean up. I like to place proximity explosives on either entrance to protect me, and then you must once again eliminate all the enemies. You will eventually climb a silo and reach a room where you have to hit hatches to open the roof. Go with an LMG, kill the enemies systematically, and use any grenades you still have. Wait on the stairs after killing the enemies along the perimeter until the roof opens. As tempting as it is to run and try to grapple on immediately, you have to kill the enemies that are above you first. Once they are mostly gone, you are free to latch on and complete John's region. Recommendations for Faith's Resistance missions are the same. Save your specialists, do the story missions, take out cult outposts, and destroy cult properties.
The path to Eden is clear to those who have faith.
Walk the path.
Can't fail this. Walk it the fuck
You
off.
must have faith. Let go.
Do it as fast as possible so you can get out of this. Definitely did not fall in the water though. And then after this, it's basically just a little bit of walking around until you get sucked in. Okay, that was really quick. Sweet. Time to play. After your resistance bar fills up in Faith's region, you are taken to a cutscene with her in the Bliss. Upon waking from this dream/reality state, the prison has been overrun with Peggies and the sheriff has been taken. You must fight the Peggies on the outside of the prison, sneak into the cell block, kill the enemies guarding the hostages, and then save Tracy. You then go on to kill Faith in the Bliss. Hide behind cover and pick off enemies one at a time. Take out snipers and shoot them before they shoot you. Go around the left side of the prison and climb the ladder to a vent. Once inside, kill the enemies quickly before they start to detect. If you do this well, there should be few enough where you can easily kill the remaining. Pick up the key on one of the bodies and talk to Tracy.
A wall that kept you from seeing his truth.
Jumping and sprinting, and no explosives. After Faith brings you into the Bliss one final time, she is fighting you to the death. The sheriff is now also lost in the Bliss and can only be saved after killing Faith. The key to killing Faith is having your explosives stacked up, a nice LMG, and a lot of movement. Use the LMG to take out her clones and the miscellaneous Peggies. Dodging her spells she throws by running and jumping perpendicular to the path will allow you to attack with explosives when she is reliving. Dwindle her health down like this until she is dead. A cool way to kind of cheat the system is after her health gets below half, you have a save point. If you then choose to die, you will respawn with all of your explosives replenished to you, which can be used to restock explosives if you run out. Try to avoid looking at Faith if you can, as it may mess up your movement, and use sound cues to know when to attack. Avoid, 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 and do this.
You strike what you
Oh,
cannot
wow.
destroy what he created.
Okay, one more. Immediately after killing Faith, you'll be taken to her bunker mission. You must travel through the bunker, shut off the Bliss, and then escape before the bunker implodes. Like John's bunker, it may seem rushed, but it is not. Get to the room with the valves, kill the enemies, and do one valve at a time. I like to put a proximity explosive at the entrance, as it usually kills a few enemies. Take out all enemies before moving on to the next valve, as it is turning on the valve that spawns your enemies in. Do the valves in order from furthest to the exit to closest to the exit, as by the time you do the last valve, you shouldn't have to worry about killing all of the enemies. You then have to destroy the central pumps by shooting the gas next to them. Do this while not lighting yourself on fire and killing the Peggies that are trying to stop you. Now that you've done this, you can escape the bunker. Don't go too close to the flames or you will die. Avoid the explosions, which I didn't do. Stay in the middle and run out the door to complete Faith's region. Recommendations for Jacob's resistance missions are a bit different due to only needing 10,000 points to fill his bar. Still save your specialists, then do the story missions, then take back the called outposts. Just a really quick disclaimer for you guys before I continue. If you are a completionist and want to complete all the missions that are in Jacob's region, you must do the search and rescue mission before filling up the resistance bar. There you go. Getting knocked out with something. This mission occurs after Jacob hears about you messing with the cult and decides to take you in to try to brainwash you. In a mysterious trance, you must go around killing enemies that are firing at you. If you are struggling to beat this mission, slow down and don't worry about the timer. You have more than enough time to do everything. Slow down and try to take out your targets one at a time. Melee and headshots give more time but are not required. Enemies are always spawned in at the same location, so learn their place for future reference. You are not using Bliss tools. Oh, you are using Bliss tools. Alright. So, after halfway, let's take number 2. This mission is more or less the same as the last. Once again, you're being conditioned to kill the enemies that are in the same area as you. The layout is exactly the same as the first time, though there may be an additional enemy per each stage. Check the corners and do not try to fight every enemy at once. Eliminate one, and then another, and then another. This mission will also be slightly longer, as you go into more rooms, but the concept is still the same.
Well, looky here. It's my new campaign manager.
For a third time, you will do the same as you have done before, once again with another enemy on some stages. Upon completing this mission, equip a sniper rifle so you will have it for the final mission. So maybe you can't be in a plane, yeah, down the ground.
We should go see if he's okay.
You 4th and final time, you must kill all the enemies around you. Now there are the most enemies you will encounter, and some of them have better weapons. It is vital now that you do not take on multiple enemies at once, and try to predict enemy locations before they shoot you. Do this all the way until the end. Once the mission finishes, you will be tasked with destroying towers as you are shot at by Jacob and other enemies. Use an LMG to shoot the enemies that are directly firing upon you, but use speed to get to the towers as quickly as possible. Many enemies you will be able to dodge or run away from. Blow up the towers with remote explosives and try not to have to go directly next to the towers. Utilize the cover that you have and use medkits when you have to. After all the towers have been destroyed, it's finally time to kill Jacob. In my opinion, the worst way to do this is to try to run up to him. Slowly and patiently kill your enemies. New waves of enemies will not come towards you until you start to advance. Once you get close enough to where you can see Jacob, use your sniper rifle and shoot him in the head. It will take 2 headshots to kill Jacob or a few body shots. Use cover and only peek out when you're going to shoot. Do your best to avoid being shot at by him. Smoke grenades can be used to travel from cover to cover, and explosives are great at taking out enemies. Jacob's bunker is very easy and only requires you to kill Peggy's. Shoot them in the head and blow up armored ones with explosives. Rescue Pratt and escape with him. If you are not confident that you may survive, stick near Pratt because he can revive you if you get down. Escape the bunker before it explodes to beat Jacob's region. Don't walk away, resist. You're fighting against your friends, and you need to bring them back, I think 3 at a time. The last mission to become infamous, killing Joseph Seed. You are fighting your friends for control. Knocking them down and reviving them will convert them to your side. You have to do this whilst fighting Joseph. At first, it will only be you, and you will be up against Joseph, the Sheriff, Hudson, and Pratt. As soon as you are able to, throw a remote explosive to kill Joseph and hopefully knock down the other 3. Use that time Joseph is respawning to pick up at least 2 teammates. You then have to kill Joseph again using either explosives or an LMG. After killing him again, you can pick up the 3rd teammate and move on. From here, it becomes much easier. Continue to kill Joseph and pick up your teammates. Once you have about 5 members on your team, it should be pretty hard to lose, considering one of them will be able to revive you if you go down. Continue reviving your team members until Joseph is dead. If you get the first 3, it gets significantly easier. If you don't, oh well. Restart and try again. As easy as that was, you're not over yet. The final step in beating Infamous is dropping the Dutch's bunker where this all started. Follow the waypoints and don't worry about the timer. You'll have plenty of time to get there even if you are a bit slow. Watch out for the falling trees and you will become infamous.